Hey guys, how's it going? Been a little while since we've seen this tractor on the channel. This is my 1971 John Deere 140H1. This is actually the 140 that I use around here for keeping the garden tilled. I have a tiller that I use on it. It originally came off of a 1970 140H3, the one that we had gotten a few years ago, and we got an engine for it, got it running. I ended up selling that tractor. I actually sold that to a friend of mine, Jacob, and he's planning on putting a different motor in it. I sold it off because the transmission was kind of wore out. Had some other issues with it and didn't really have the time to get around to it, and to be honest with you, I kind of lost some ambition there for a while. I'm sure you noticed the delay of videos. I really apologize about that. I just really haven't been in the mindset of wanting to film. I've had other things going on and other life events going on, and I've just been trying to kind of get back into things, so I had to step away from this stuff for a little bit. So bear with me. I gotta get my go at it back in, or whatever the hell I'm trying to think of. Just get back into it and get back into the swing of things. So previously we used this tractor to keep the garden tilled. The tiller has given me some problems. That'll be another video. Whether that video has already been released or not, I don't know. So I guess we'll see. So some things that this tractor has that it needs addressed is the transmission has a leak and the fluid is also kind of low. So I'm on the fence of whether I want to go on ahead and change that fluid out or just top the fluid off, and also change the filter, or again just top it off. So another problem that this tractor has is the steering. You get about half a turn in that steering wheel before the steering starts to turn, and then also the tractor does not charge the battery. This has been a problem for a while. I've been meaning to look into it and figure it out, just haven't had the chance. The voltage regulator is also missing a terminal, so I have a suspicion that that is the problem. I have a 200 series one I thought about throwing on there for a while, but I didn't really think it'd look too good on there. However, I'm kind of up in the air on it again and thinking maybe that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this thing. I'm not sure what exactly I want to look into first. I think the first thing we should probably look into is going to be the transmission and figure out what the deal is with that leak. My guess is there's a plate in there that pushes down on a couple of relief valves, and my thought is that plate is stuck down and therefore it is pushing on the relief valves, causing them to leak because sometimes those seals go bad. I had that problem once before on another tractor of mine. I took and I put a couple washers under it to lift that plate up a little bit, and I managed to get that to work pretty well. So we're going to try that, and we're going to see, you know, I just thought of this. We're going to try that, and also, oh, that knob's loose. I was going to say, I kind of just thought about that, but since I'm thinking about that also, this is the steering. So that needs to be addressed. That's the other problem. And then also the charging system. So yeah, let's go on ahead and dive into it, and let's see what we can figure out. So I guess we'll go on ahead and get into the back of it first. So I think I have everything loose, so we should be able to pull the tractor apart. Fender panel. Should. Yeah, look at that. Cool. So now, this plate needs to come off, and I'm betting underneath there is where we will find our problem at. So these 6 self-tappers should all come out. So underneath here, there's 2 valves on the transmission, and those are what I'm expecting are currently being pushed down. Actually, we can feel in there. Well, that feels wet. It might even be there's just so much shit in there right now that it's causing it to push it down. because I don't think I've had this off here before. So let's open door number 2 and see what we find. Yep. That's up all the way, actually. That looks just fine. I don't think that's our problem. But however, it does look kind of wet. That one seems to be down a little bit. Here's some stuff I've been using lately. This is actually pretty good for out here in the shop. This is foaming some kind of wall cleaner, but it actually seems like it does pretty well for some of the stuff I do out here. You just spray it on there and you grab a little brush. I said brush, not wire wheel. And then over here, it's just a little spinny brush you can get. I use them for a bit of stuff out here. And that should get it. Should. Yeah. Looks better than it did. It's starting to kind of clean up. So if that's where it's leaking from, that should do the trick. That valve's stuck. Let me try something real quick. This will clean it up and also might lubricate it a little. It's just a toothbrush with diesel fuel on it. Note to self, I need to restock that. So both valves are stuck. So when I start the engine, if my suspicion's right, when I start that engine up, these will shoot up. It has to be something to do with them because you can push the tractor around quite easily, so I know it's not that. Just trying to get them lubed up a little. You know, what I think it was I think that these were being pushed down by dirt and stuff. I'm sure you guys saw there was quite a bit of stuff on top of them, and oiling them up should help tremendously. That one's doing pretty well. That one is too. They're both doing a lot better. They could clean up a little bit better, but they're alright. So now what I want to watch for is I want to watch here. I want to see if anything comes out either of them valves. Any transmission fluid. And we'll see it because they'll start to get wet. If it does, well, we know that's where it's coming from. If it doesn't start coming from there, it's coming from somewhere else. So we'll start it up, we'll let it run for a while, and we'll see what happens. Ready? Well, that answers my question right there. So I'm sure you see that. As soon as I started the tractor up, that one started pissing out. So that valve is the one that we are having problems with. I knew it had to have been leaking fast. There's a seal. I'm not exactly sure how these work, but there's a seal on the side of there. I don't really know how much I want to take it apart right now. It seems like it's leaking a lot faster than it actually was. before. So that valve is the one. I wonder if I have another valve around here somewhere I can change that one out with. Well, yeah, there you go. That's one way to discover a leak. Sometimes it's up there and sometimes it's somewhere else. Let me see if I have another valve somewhere we can throw in there, and yeah. Hell, even right now you can see it still. It's under pressure. Yeah, now it's actually locked up where before it wouldn't lock up like that. So, cool, that means that it definitely helped. So I'll be back. So I ran around back and I have good news. We do have another one of them valves. So, this should come loose, which it did. Try not to get stuff to fall in there, but if you can't avoid it, the filters should catch most of it. I try to keep them as clean as I can, because I really don't want dirt and shit in there. Especially if it's a tractor you care about. If it's not one you particularly care about, you're not worried about, then, you know, by all means, do whatever. So, clean that up a little. Let's see if we can just get in here, and I'd normally take these and wash them. It's a little bit cold out right now. And with that, this should come out. There we go. There's our valve. Yeah, that's stuck. Yeah. Not sure where it would be leaking through that seal. And that's what's causing it? That might be it. So here's our new one. Not new to it. Look about the exact same. They are the exact same valve. Now I will tell you, you have to be like a surgeon. You have to keep as clean, or these have to stay as clean as you possibly can keep them. You do not want dirt and shit in there. So if you can avoid it, try not to get anything in that pump. And also, you know, keep the valve clean where it's going to be going in. And then also I'm just going to come in here and try to clean this surface up a little. And just try to keep shit from going in there. Like that. So I'm going to throw this valve in here. I wonder if it'd be a bad idea to do the other one also. I might even just take it out and clean the head of it, honestly. There we go. That's good and tight. So, old valve's out. To figure it out and see what exactly failed. I'm wondering if that bottom O-ring failed. And that's what caused it. I don't think that's the case. So let's just get everything off the hood. That way nothing else falls off. I'm going to start it back up and let's see if it ends up leaking out again. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can get this thing to, if it doesn't leak anymore. Hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully it doesn't end up just moving over here. This thing done, may as well. Bet you this one's next. Really should do them both, you know, since we're in here already doing one, but there we go. See how that does. right there before they started to build up pressure, they leaked a little bit. But now that I'm looking at them, I don't see anything leaking out, so that's good. I'll call that a win. So that's good. Got a little bit of play in that, I noticed. That might be alright though. Yeah. Might want to keep an eye on that. However, it's not leaking anymore. That's good. I did see a little bit of a pool around the tube, but I think that was from when it was first building pressure. So if that's all that was causing the thing to leak, I'm going to be pretty happy. So I think now we can go on ahead, and I want to add some more fluid to it. And once I put some more fluid in that rear end, we can call this thing done. And yeah. So the proper way to check the transmission fluid on one of these tractors is while it's running, which yeah, I will do that, but I want to check it right now while it's still under pressure. And we are on add. So now let's start it, and I'll just show you the difference. That's why you check it when it's running, because it was on add, now it's below. So with it running, it was on the full mark. I'm gonna let it sit there for a second and just let things drain down. And I wanna see where it's at now. And it is already starting to go up above the full mark. So that's good. That means that we have the transmission figured out. So now it'll run a little bit under full still. I'll probably end up adding a little more to that. I was just trying to be a little bit careful how much I added to it, because I didn't want it to burp and blow it back at me or get an air bubble in that tube. Yes, I know the tractor's not running right now. Just want to add a little more. Add more to be safe. So now, there we go. So let's start it up. Let's see where it's at. go. That looks pretty good. Engine sounds pretty good. The transmission sounds good. I don't hear any noises. The valves are not leaking. The one has a little bit of fluid on it, but I think that's going to be all right. So now that we have that all took care of, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to put the rear assembly all back together. You guys watch me take it apart. It's basically a reverse of putting it, or it's basically the reverse of taking it apart just to put it back together. So I'm going to throw it all back together. And once I do that, I guess we'll take the tractor outside and we'll run it around a little bit and see how it does. And yeah, I'm glad we got that leak took care of though, because it was giving me some problems before where it would kind of hesitate a bit, and also it wasn't keeping pressure, which I think that could have possibly been because of the low fluid. I was going to add, I know someone's going to say something, I was going to add more fluid to it, but as you noticed, I'm sure how fast it was leaking out. I did add fluid to it once and it was right back down to add right after I was done tilling that garden back there. So I said, you know what, I'll just leave it alone and I'll get back to it here later. Well, now it's later and it has made the decision for me, because as you can see, the tiller is off of it and pulled apart. Oh no, what happened? So getting into this tractor, I want to look under here. I want to check the wiring, and I also want to get a look at that steering box, and I want to see what the issue is with it and why we have so much play in that steering before it engages the wheels. I'm sure you see that. So I want to pull the battery, I want to pull the battery tray, and once I pull that battery tray, I want to see if there's something underneath of here that stands out as being the issue. And if we can find something that stands out to be the issue, then we'll go on to that and see if we can fix it. Supposedly there is a way to adjust the gearboxes in there. I haven't done it, but I've seen it done. So if that ends up being the case, then that's probably the route we'll go. It's possible that it might even just be a ball joint. You know, maybe the ball joint's bad or the end of it's busted off, or I doubt it, but maybe even a loose nut could be the problem. So it could be a list of things. So I guess that's where we're gonna go into next and just see if we can figure something out. It'd just be these two bolts up here, and then the ones down there that hold the battery tray in. Make your guesses. What do you think? What do you think it could be? I'm gonna go on ahead and assume it's probably that gearbox is dead. The gearbox is junk and has issues. That's sort of what I'm pinning it to be. And then also, I think while I'm in here, I want to address the charging system so that we can have that work again, because, well, that's kind of important and something I need. Even if we can't figure out the steering, it's at least nice to know that we have the transmission figured out. That was one that was kind of annoying, coming out and finding puddles underneath of it all the time. That just fell. Let's see if we can get this to come out. That just fell. There we go. So I'll set this up here. This should just come out of here now, right? Okay, so the gearbox looks alright. Wait a second. That moves. That moves just fine. Whoa. Well, remember how I said a loose nut? It's either that or a ball joint. Let's take a look at this. Let's see if I can get the camera in here good enough. Oh, maybe not. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can figure out, shall we? So down inside there, is the ball joint. If you ask me, it looks like the nut backed off. I think that's exactly what happened, is that nut backed off. Huh, that's interesting. Didn't I call that before? Didn't I call that earlier and say that a nut could even be the problem that caused it? You're kidding, right? I guess not. That box might be loose. No. Oh yeah. It is the, well, that's kind of shitty too. But wow, holy shit, it is the ball joint being loose. That's funny. Alright, well, that just made things a hell of a lot easier. So, I guess that's gonna have to be tightened up. I don't know if I can do that on camera or not. Probably not. It's just a 3/4 inch wrench and a 5/8 wrench. It's just like tightening the ones up on the front tie rods. Let me tighten that up real fast and let me, I guess, see if that fixes the problem. Tightened up that ball joint in there. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, look at that. This wheel's turning first. That made a hell of a difference, though, I'll give it that. So that's good. I wonder... No, it ain't loose. It might just be this is... Oh. Yeah, that's not loose. No, so it might just be those are wore out. It might need new tie rods, to be truly honest with you. But that's a lot better than it was. A lot better than it was. So now you can actually turn it and not worry about going the complete wrong way. That's going to be nice when that tiller is put on here. So yeah, because there was several times where the thing would fly over to the side on you and rip the wheel out of your hand because it had so much built up momentum already, and then the front wheels would, it had a really bad wander. Let's just put it that way. So I guess now we can go on ahead, let's check that wiring. And let's see about putting a charging system to that engine. So it looks like pretty much all the wiring is here, because I can see down here the wiring that comes out of the stator, and it goes into this harness right here which comes up, and this wire right here goes to that. This wire right here obviously goes to right there. One of these wires should go to the middle. I don't know what one exactly goes where. This thing is really rough when it comes to the wiring harness. I mean, it's really questionable. So we may end up wanting to go on ahead and rewire the thing. Now that I'm actually looking in here and getting a look at this tractor for the first time. Well, the red wire comes in, I believe the red wire comes in from the alternator. Actually, no, one of these wires going to the amp meter comes in from the battery, and then it goes through the key switch. The alternator here goes to, wait a minute, okay. Two of these wires go down and they plug into the harness going into the stator. These two out here, these are for AC current. The one that's in the middle is DC current. The DC current one goes back in to one of the prongs on the key switch, and that is what powers, or that is what charges the charging system in the tractor. Although right now it does not seem that we have, I don't think we have decent enough wiring in here to really do a whole lot about that. Is that a, yeah, it is. I didn't think that was, but apparently it has. Alright, man. Let's get that out. Okay, yeah, it doesn't want to come out. So now we gotta get this one on the bottom. Oh, there's not even a bolt on the bottom. Yeah, see right there should be a terminal, which is not. So now we need to grab another voltage regulator. And once we grab another voltage regulator, we should be able to do a charging system. So let me go find one. I think I have one around here somewhere, and we'll get right back into it. Right upstairs, and I grabbed this. This is off of a 200 series, so it's gonna look funny, but I believe it'll fit the bill, and it should work. Well, shit. You need a longer bolt. However, should work. Let me grab another bolt. So let's go ahead and let's see about getting this thing rewired. I'm just going to go on ahead and take the gas tank out of it because, well, may as well, to get to what we're going in for. It's not that hard, it's just 2 bolts. There we go. There we go. So now, this green wire right here, the wire coming out of the regulator position on the key switch is green, so I am going to assume, because I do not see it going anywhere else, this is it right here. That is our alternator, or that is our regulator wire. I don't know what this wire right here is. I don't know what this wire is neither. The one went to the regulator, but I don't think either of them really go anywhere, so I might just go on ahead and cut them down at the bottom. I do know, however, what wire comes out of the engine, and I do know what wire goes to the regulator, and all we really need is this wire right here, assuming it goes to that. There's not really a way to check. Well, actually, maybe there is. Don't know. However, this is green, that's green. I'm just gonna go on ahead and assume that's what it is. So let's see if we can get that crimp off without cutting the wire. If we can, I guess that's what we'll do. There we go. Cool, that's exactly what I wanted. So we'll grab a connector and we'll throw it on there. So now with that out of the way and done, I'm going to throw a new wire in that goes from there. What I need, I know someone's going to say it, yes, I should be using the ones that you solder. I don't have any. This is what I have. This is what I'm going to use. So that wire goes to the middle one. So we'll just go on here. Shit. Hopefully there we go, that did it. Cool. So there we go, that one's in. And we can hook this up. There we go, like that. And then this wire doesn't really need to be that long. Cut it right there, that'll be just fine. One from here. There we go. So the screen wire goes right there. You want to make sure you're not rubbing anywhere, and actually I'm going to have to wrap that up in some tape to to solve that problem. In the process, though, I want it to look neat. You know, I don't want it to be a mouse nest under here. Nice. So that should fix this issue. Now, whether this regulator I'm putting on here is any good or not, I don't know. It's just one that I grabbed from upstairs. I'd assume it's probably not good since it's not in a tractor. I'm just gonna cut these. I don't know what they go to. And they really haven't had any problems since they have not been hooked up to anything, so. And they don't match any colors coordinated with anything here, so I'm just gonna assume they're there. They might go to something, they might not. I would assume it's just this wire that's really anything important. They may have went to headlights at one point, who knows. So that wire is hooked up, so now we need to come down here, and there's a couple wires in this little harness here. It would be these. I can't tell what color those wires are. It would be this orange wire, or no, wait. It would be this one, these two purple wires. The one purple wire that has a white stripe, and the one purple wire that has no stripe. There's also these two, which I don't know what this green one goes to. It's a blue one, actually. But these two right here go from this connector, which hooks into the stator wires, and they go, actually, it should go here. So I can cut, let's see where, hook these all back up, push that back down. This can get hooked back up, that can get hooked back up. And then the one wire that is here also goes to the ignition. That one is still there. I don't know what that blue wire goes to. I want to say the orange wires, in the wiring harnesses, the orange wire is the one for the headlights. I don't see an orange wire up here, but I do see that one for the ignition. If we cut it back some, what do you say we cut it right there and we run it up? That should do it. If we need to, we can go back a little more. This is probably the factory wiring harness. I bet it is. I don't think this tractor's ever had a rewire done. Now there's not going to be any power going to these wires from back there. I think they might just go in there and circle back. I bet that's the one that we had just cut. So in other words, there, yeah, that might be. So they're just in there right now. They don't go to anything anymore, because it just goes to the regulator, and that's pretty much it. Once you've been around the block a few times, you kind of get the idea. So these two wires go to the regulator. These are AC current. The ones in the middle is DC. That goes back to the charging system of the tractor. and this one just goes from the stator. One goes in from the stator and the other one goes back to the stator in AC. And then it also changes direction sometimes. So we'll put it right there. There we go. So now we can hook these up. Should be able to hook these up. Come on, down. Now I'll put it. And there's that white wire. That white wire is for the ignition. I'm just gonna hook these two. I may have cut that too short. To be honest with you. Push that back down in. I don't know what the blue wire goes to. I don't think that goes to anything. It's been unhooked and ever since I got this thing running again, and I haven't had any issues, so I'm just gonna assume it doesn't go to anything. But I know that red wire does go to the ignition. Nothing sitting on that. So I think we have it back together now. We should be all right to go on ahead and put everything back together, and that should solve our problems. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything else that it needs and look around and see. So I guess I can go ahead and put it back together. I'm just gonna do that off camera. It's just basically putting it back together. It's the same as taking it apart. We'll throw the battery in it and we'll see what happens. Well, I got that battery put in. I tightened down the one side just to get it done and took care of. I guess let's go on ahead and put the other side in. Let's see if we get any kind of interactions when we hook the battery up. Nothing. All right. Cool. I'm just going to loosely put this in here just in case. I don't see any smoke or anything, so I think we are alright. Should be alright. Let's see what happens. The only reason it's smoked is because that's loose. So that's fine. It started up, it ran. So we can put this back together. Cool. So hopefully everything that we have done fixed to this thing, and it shouldn't give me any more problems. There we go. That's tight. So start it up and let's see if we are generating any power. Where is my... So with it, even in idle, we should be getting something. Let's just check it. Let's see what it's at right now. We should be at 12, right? I would assume. We are at 12. Okay, 12.5. Start it up and let's check it and see what it says. So my assessment is we are not charging, and it looks like all of our wiring is still where it needs to be. Yep. So I think unfortunately that regulator may not be good. It could even be where I plugged that wire into. I doubt it, but you never know. So I guess for right now that's just where we're going to leave it. The tractor does run, however, and there is no longer any fluid underneath of it, which is kind of nice. So, and also the steering is tight, so I guess I'll go on ahead and call it a win. I don't see any action on the gauge, so that's really unfortunate, the fact that we're not getting any power charging the battery. Nothing says that regulator I threw on there is any good either, so I don't know. So I guess that's where I'm just going to leave it for now. Let's go on ahead and let's get it started up again. We really haven't taken it out for a test drive since we fixed that stuff. So let me go on ahead and I'm going to throw a coat on because it's cold outside and I got to move a tractor out of my way in order to get out that door. So we'll get that moved and then we will see about taking this thing out for a little drive and see how it does. So the only problem with it that I have at the moment is I wonder if that hydrostatic lever is out of adjustment, because I cannot get it to go any faster than that. I tried pulling the lever back some to see if I could get a little more movement out of it, which it almost seemed like I did, but then I kind of lost it. So I don't know. I'm gonna run it around a little bit and see how it does. I don't see it leaking anymore, which is good. And I guess I'll bring it back here in a bit. Well, as much as I want to cut the video here and say that we got everything fixed on this thing, of course there's got to be something else that screws up, right? In the event of going out there and running it around some, I want to adjust the idle down some because I thought it was idling kind of high, and the tractor shut off on me. So I went to start it back up and I got one turn out of the starter, and then after that single turn out of the starter, it would not go again. The solenoid just clicks. So I assumed the solenoid was bad. So I came in here and I grabbed the jumper cables and I went right to the starter from the battery, and I cannot get it to go. I get sparks and that's it. So I'm beginning to assume that that battery or the starter may have shit the bed. So I guess we might as well, since we're already into it, go on ahead and get that took care of. And yeah, I don't know. I might try and see if I can take that starter apart. I guess it depends on what type of starter it is. Hopefully it's one that I can take apart and get into, but we'll see. So let's see about getting this starter out of here. It should be 7/16 that hold the nut on here, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. The starter is warm though. You know, that moves. I didn't do it. The starter is warm though, and it progressively seems like it gets hot. So, interesting. I kind of wonder if something inside let go. It didn't have any signs of issues up until that point where it just kind of died. Once it died, that was the end of it. So I don't know. Right now I don't know what the issue is with it. Can't get on that one under here. And that's not normal for that one to turn. As I'm sure you've probably figured out, it shouldn't be. There we go. That one under there shouldn't be turning, so I'm starting to think I know what happened. I think the wire that goes in there is ripped off. Let's see what type of starter this is. Is it one that I can easily take that gear off of, or is this one of those that has a pin, which is what I don't like? And to test it and see if we're getting a good solenoid or not. There we go. So we have a good solenoid, as you can see. I'm sure, I don't know if you saw it spark or not. We did get sparks out of it. Let's see what we have. Motor stuck. Whoa, that sounded good. There it goes. What's going on in here? Interesting. Well, is this one of those that has the stupid clip? Yep, it's one of those. That's what I was afraid of. Damn it. Those are always a pain to take apart. So, alright, well, I guess we're probably going to end up just replacing it. We might take it apart, but I don't know. We'll see. So I guess let's go ahead and see if we can figure out what happened to this thing. We need a screwdriver in order to get that off. So I guess let's go ahead and assess the damage that this thing has inside, or at least see if we can. We should be able to get this clip out of here. Once we get this clip out, we can see what exactly went. If we take his gear out. Should come out. Come on. I'm kind of done messing with that clip. Thinking about it, I think we should be able to get in here and get these out. was the deal with these? There we go. I was going to say, even the bolts are giving me trouble. But I guess it would help if you turned that the right way. There we go. Whoa. Look at all that. Yeah, something tells me not a bit happened. I wonder if a magnet let go. I bet you a magnet let go in the housing. That's what's doing it. A magnet or one of the brushes is what I think let go and is causing it to do that. I guess we'll see. There we go. Look at all that material. Oh my God. Well, this top is still good. Yeah, that answers my question. One of the magnets let go. Yep. Wow. What the hell caused that? Brushes look fine. What would cause a magnet to break like that? It worked just fine up until that point. That's really interesting right there. It looks fine other than that. I bet if we were to clean this up, we could get it to work again. I think we could. I'd like to get that off there though if I can. That's cool. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean this out if I can. And I want to see if I can get this thing to work again. So I guess this will be a job for the parts washer. Yeah, we got a busted magnet right there. Unless, I guess we could just change that. How's that? Here's another housing that I have. It's the exact same. Although that has a bigger magnet in it. Maybe not. Another thing I noticed is that's 4, and that's 2. Went right in. That rubs, but I think it's just because maybe. So we'll rinse this out. Yeah. I think what happened is the glue that they used to let go. I bet that's exactly what happened. And once that glue let go, that was it. I'm going to clean that rotor up and let's see if we can get this thing put back together. Make it work. Cleaned everything up. Let's go ahead and see about getting this thing put back together and maybe if we can get it to work. Damn it, it broke. Oh, we may be able to get it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw tape on these to see if I can get this to hold the brushes in. And then once I get them, if it holds the brushes in, I'm going to take it and put the assembly in the motor. And after I put the assembly in the motor,
Which way did this rip? Ripped this way, didn't it? I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. And then once I put the assembly back in the motor, we can try it and see if we can get it to work again. And if we get it to work again, then that will be perfect. So once I get the brushes installed, we'll throw the rotor in to the housing. So these will just be in here until the rotor is back into that housing. I'm not leaving them on here permanently for anybody who thinks I am. Nope, they're just going on there for right now. And once I get this all put back together, we'll take them apart. Now, I'd like to take that all off. And then once that's all taken off that shaft, stick that in. And then once that's stuck in, go for putting the housing around it. But I can't do that, unfortunately, because, well, yeah, as you guys saw earlier. So I know somebody will throw a fit, so I'm going to correct myself on that one now. There's still a little bit of magnet shavings in there, but there's not really much I can do. There we go. That should help solve our problems. So we'll throw this in here. There we go. And then once we get that put together, we'll stick this guy in here. There we go. So now this should be fun, getting the tape out. Really, I'd like to just take the ones out where the bolts are so I can get the bolts started. Let's just get this guy taken out of here. That's another one. That's another thing we can do, is go on ahead and get the bolts put in to this housing. There we go. And I think right there, I would assume, is where one of our things go. And you do have to get the tape completely out. You cannot leave any of it in there like how I am. I'm trying not to, but I'm trying to figure out where this is so that I can get it together. I may have to take it back apart and use a different tape. Or just make sure I have it lined up right, actually. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. No, I don't think that tape's gonna do it. It's just falling right apart. Wait a minute, maybe. Nope. Yeah, no. I was afraid of that. Yeah, see, that just fell apart way too easily. Let me try a different type. So I got that starter rebuilt and put back together. I actually ended up figuring out a way to get that pin off of there. I grabbed a pair of side cutters and I expanded that clip. Unfortunately, the clip flew away and I was not able to recover it, so I grabbed an old keychain. Or I grabbed an old key, what the hell do you call it, key ring, and I cut it down a little bit and I got it to fit in that groove. I took the starter apart, I got that bearing plate off of it, and I put the spinner, the rotor in there, using the tape method I did to get the brushes in here to stay in place. Got that to work. I got it all put back together, and I used a key ring to fix that top like I said and have that hold in place. Hopefully that shouldn't give me any problems. Everything's all put back together like it should be. I have not tried to crank the thing yet. I don't know if that starter works or not. We also changed out this housing, as you can see, just so you know that's the same one. Let's go on ahead and let's see if we can get this thing to crank, or if it cranks. I haven't tried it yet, so let's see. Ready? Sounds kind of slow. Might need to raise the throttle up a little. But yeah, it seems like the starter's working. It sounds kind of slow, in my opinion. Let's try that. Let's see if that starter will start it up now without any assistance. Alright guys, I want to take a second. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it's your first time checking out the channel, please consider going down below, hitting that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing. It tells YouTube that you guys like the videos and want to see more. It tells myself the same thing. I apologize for the lack of videos there has been lately. I know that I haven't been filming nearly as much as I used to. I really haven't had the ambition as much lately to come out here and do a whole lot. That, and I've been messing with other things and doing other life stuff, and just really haven't wanted to pull the camera out much. I wanted to take a little bit of a break. I've been doing this for the last 5 years. God, almost 5, actually, yeah, 5 years. So there comes a point in time, you know, where you just want to sit down and do something yourself, not lug around a camera. I hate editing videos. I know I've said that before, so that's been one of the big things that's really been keeping me from just wanting to pull the camera out and record. If I could sit there and record it, yeah, no problem. I'd do that. But, you know, then the other thing is I like to sit down and listen to stuff when I'm out here working on things. You can't really do that when you're recording because, well, you get that on video and you don't, there's some things you listen to you really don't want on camera. Well, no, that's not true. People don't want to sit there and listen to something while they're trying to listen to you talk and work on something. So that's kind of why it gets kind of boring not having something to record or not having something to listen to. That, and I'm sure you don't want to listen to my annoying voice all the time. So there you go. Alright guys, like I said, thanks for watching. We got this tractor, pretty much everything except for that charging system, done. I promise hopefully here soon there will be more videos. I will try to get back onto my schedule that I used to have. Just like I said, I haven't really been as into it as I used to be, and I'm currently some other life things going on, so just trying to, you know, make do with it. So alright, well, alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.